Hello, everyone. How's it going? Happy Monday. Today, we're going to be going over the designs we did in Fiverr. This is day 2 of our spray and pray on Fiverr. So what we did on the last video on day 1 is we went on Fiverr and we found just, 4 random designers on here, and we got them to design different sites. We paid anywhere between, $5 to $10 plus the Fiverr fees, and we're really just spraying and praying, and we're going to see what results that we get. All right, and so the reason why we go with this method, and it's especially more important if we go on the lower end on these prices, it's really just rolling the dice. You never know what you're going to get, and you want to increase the odds of success. Now, you could apply the same strategy to designers at any price point. It's always good to have options, and you can always have different landing pages and websites that you can split test against, which is really what you want. So let's go over some of the results today. So the first result I want to show you is the one that actually looks like a $5 design to me. I'm not really in love with it. It's not modern at all, but that's okay. There's some people got the skill, some people don't. And I think this is not a good landing page in my opinion. But design is subjective, so one man's design may be another person's treasure sort of thing, but I'm not a fan of this one. I would give this, maybe a really low score, but some of the other designs are actually pretty good. And so this was one of the designs that we got back, and I actually liked kind of the structure and the layout and kind of the theme of this design, but I wasn't happy with the color choices. And it doesn't really just pop, right? And everything is really the same color. You got this purple, and it's just everywhere. Pretty much the whole site is purple. So with this designer in particular, I actually went back to them and I said, you know what, keep the work that you did, the same, same design, but let's just go ahead and switch up the color palette. And so I sent him a link to another site that the color palette looked really good on, and he ended up switching this design to this, right? Just adding in some splashes of color in there. Now, this looks a lot better, right? This looks more fun. It's more engaging, more inviting, right? That splash of color really, really helps. And now, there are some things that I would change on this design, and we'll go over those in a minute. But it's one of those things where it's not really worth telling the designer to change it. Because we can just do it in the web designer a lot quicker. So talking about things like changing the colors of buttons to get them to pop more so people want to click on it, that sort of thing. We don't need to tell a designer to do that because we're going to take control over that inside the website builder. So this was the one that I really liked. And by the way, let me know in the comments which ones you guys like, or if you guys have any questions. We will be going over those today on the call. So this was the option 2. I'll scroll down to the bottom. We got a nice little form and a call to action with a button right there. This one looks pretty slick. And then we got option number 3. So option number 3 looked pretty good as well. I actually really like this design. Now, this particular designer on Fiverr, is I don't want to say not bait and switch, but one of those marketing tactics where I ended up buying the design, and then the designer says, you know what, oh, this design only includes 2 sections of your website, right? So it was a $5 for 2 sections. So I said, you know what, that's fine, just do 2 sections. So he ended up designing just the first 2 sections of the site. So it's not a complete website, but it still is actually a really nice design, and it gives us something to work with. And the price for this is actually amazing for what we got designed. So this is definitely great. I mean, you can't beat $5 or $10 for some of these designs. It's really, really, really amazing on here. So this, I do like this one, and this gives you something you can work with 100%. Now let's check out the last design. So the last design we got is this one. And see if I can zoom in a little bit. So this one I'm not super excited about. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. This kind of has the same problem as the first one, where just everything kind of blends together. Everything's the same color, right? It's doesn't really attract my eye too much. So yeah, my top 2 picks would definitely be this one right here or this one. So this gives you a lot to work with. Now, a lot of times when you're picking a designer and you're just rolling the dice, going with a designer, a lot of times you even get assets, image assets that you can use later on other pages, even if you're not going to use the design. Like something like the image with the guy on the laptop and the customer comments or reviews. This is great. We can totally use this on another page, even if we don't use this design. So this is amazing. So we can definitely make good use of this content. So I'm going over some of the comments right now. We got Jason. He says that the last one does need more color, but I think the design is the best. And then we got some people asking, how do you get the design from Figma to Flowtrack? That's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going over that. And we got another question. It says, did you get the one-page landing page or multiple pages in the design? So I typically like to go with the one-page designs because most of the time, and it depends on the content on your page, right? Everyone's going to be a little bit different, but most of the time I end up reusing different pieces from the design on the inner pages, right? You're going to have the same top bar, the top menu bar, you have the same footer. You might even have, this type of same style of text, and you just might alternate it with different images. So I would stick with one page, see what you get, and see how many reusable components you get out of that. If you need to go back to the designer to do more, you can always do that. And at that point, you know that this is a good designer. You want to keep working with them, and they can customize more things on there. So the first thing that I want to do actually is I want to get some of these images out of the design. So I actually like this one right here. So I'm going to try sticking with this one. We got a few different options though. So just like Flowtrack, you got the layer manager on the left. It's pretty much the same thing for Figma, right? So you got these different layers on the left, and normally you can just click on something. Right? I can click on this, and I got this item selected. Now, if I wanted to export this, if you actually go to the Inspect tab over here on the right, or maybe it's Design, one of these, yeah, you got this little export thing right here, and you can preview what this looks like. Now, that looks pretty cool. So that may be the thing that I want to export. Now, there is this little, these dots behind it. I don't know if you guys can see that in the video, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So you do have these little square or plus symbols behind the image. I don't think that's in the preview image. I don't think I actually selected the whole thing. So I'm going to keep clicking around until I get the stuff that I want in this layer. And it looks like this layer is combined with a few different things. So I may have to actually group the layer together. So we got the mask. So you see I'm just hovering over these items on the left right here, and it's kind of highlighting what is included in that group. So I see that we got a few things right here. I'm going to just go ahead and combine this one, and this one. Let's see. So it's this one, and this one. I'm just going to put in the one group. So I just selected them all, and I'm just going to say flatten, right? And I could do that right there. And I think I actually changed it, so I don't want to do that. So I'm looking for something like group. Okay, group. That's what I wanted. I clicked on group selection, and now I got it as just one thing that I can export. So under the design tab, I just click on export, and now I'm going to export this as one image, and that's exactly what I want. So this is perfect. I got one image. Now let's go ahead and dive into the website builder and show you how easy it is to use these exported images. Some are easier to export than others, right? I can grab this logo, just click on export. I don't need to do anything special with that one. That's super simple. So we can go into Figma. Go into Flowtrack, and we're going to go in and we're going to create a new design project, and we're going to call this the Fiverr design. Click Save. Now I can start adding a new page in here. And so let's actually delete this default text that's in there, and let's start dragging in a grid. And you're asking me, well, how do you know to use a grid, right? Well, I'm actually just looking at the design that the person gave us in Figma. Let me go back to the right one. So I'm going back to the design in here, and I can tell it's a grid because I see I got a block of text on the left and an image on the right. And so I'm like, okay, that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to take that image on the right, which I already exported, and I'm going to add a bunch of text on the left. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I got a grid, and now I'm just going to go in and start dropping in an image. So I'll put an image on the right. It's going to ask me to upload it. Now, I already downloaded the image, so it's going to make it super easy to upload. I'm just dragging it to the file uploader right here. I got my new image. I'm going to go ahead and drag the upload, or the logo as well. Now I got my logo and my hero image, and I'm going to click on this and drop it into the page. And so now you're thinking like, oh no, the image is cut off. What do I do? Well, that's why we actually have this little icon over here, so you can like fit the whole image right here inside the cell. So just click on that button, fit it in the cell, and we're good to go. So that's how easy to get it is to get that. Now, going back to the design, right? The whole process of moving a design from Figma into the website builder is really just dragging and dropping the things that you need to get this converted. And you can always come back to your design to see what colors the person used or what images the person used. So you can get as close to an exact copy of the design as you can. So the first thing that I noticed, if I like really zoom in here, is I see they got some light text on the top and some big text and some light text. And so I'm just going to do that exact same thing. Going into the website builder, I'm going to put in some text, and then I'm going to put in some hero text, and I'm going to put in some other text. So it's that easy to get going. I may go ahead and left align this. So do the left align on all these, and we're good to go. And so going back into the design, you can actually click on it and you can see, what type of font that the person used in here. You can see all the different details in here. And let's see, I got font in here somewhere. Inspect, there's the font, General Sans. So inside the website builder, I can just go ahead and use that font in there, or you can completely change it, right? So we'll just click on this, and we got Classic Sans Serif here. I do like the font pairings that we have in here in the website builder, sometimes a little bit better than some of the ones you see in the design. So I might actually just pick one of these in the font pairings and use those. So you can definitely play around and experiment with those font pairings in there. But that's basically what we're going to be doing. We're going to be copying and pasting the design and the information from here. So next we got a button. And so we're going to do actually two buttons, right? And so we got a button that's outlined and a button that's filled in. And so for this, we're going to go ahead and just drag in, let's say, a box. We can do a box. Yeah. I'm dragging a box. And in here, I want to put two buttons. So put a button element in here. And if you guys have questions, keep loading them up in the chat. I see you guys posting a lot of stuff in there. I'm going to start answering those in a little bit. So once I got my two buttons in a box, now I can just say, apply the Flexbox settings. I'm going to say show these side by side. So that's how easy that is. And going back into the design, I see that there's this blue color. I'm copying that color blue on the right. See that little hash code or hex code right there. So I'm going to click on that and change the color of the blue. I just paste the code right in there. Same thing on this one, right? This one has actually no background, right? I think this is just white, but it has a border. So I'm going to paste that same blue for the border. We'll change this to like, 2-pixel border, change the text to something black, right? And we're starting to get this design. So I see the corner of the buttons are actually rounded a little bit. So I can go in and actually round those corners as well. So just like in Figma, right, you got this setting on here for the border radius under decorations. And I'm just going to put a small border radius on there. So it's like a 5 pixels and 5 pixels. And so I can make these buttons a little bit smaller. It's really up to your preference. But let's go ahead and start working with this. So we can go ahead and copy this text right here. I guess I can't copy from Figma. Maybe I can. Let's see. Okay, I can. Perfect. And I, by the way, am by no means a Figma design expert. So if I can do this, I think literally anyone in here can. So it really is not going to be that hard to get this designed in here. So we can start dropping this in, and the font on this might be a little bit too big, so I can change that. Maybe we'll do like a 34, right? And I can start dropping in the other text in here. So I'm going to copy this one as well, paste this in here. Right, and maybe change the font to this. We'll do this one, And I want to add in some spacing below, right? And on this one, I'll also add some spacing below, gap below. So it's really starting to look better. And I would actually change the Flexbox settings on here just because maybe I don't want to deal with all the gaps and spacing and all that. So I can just say, you know what, let's actually just put space in here automatically. So I'm clicking that button so it like fills up the whole part of the page. So it's starting to look a lot better. And I'm actually going to dive into the questions right now in here. So we got someone saying they like the second one better. Yeah, I mean, it's all personal preference, which one you guys like. So definitely pick the one that you love the most. But a lot of times, you know, I've loved designs in the past. I thought this design was going to do super well. And then you get out there and you test it with some Facebook ads or something. It doesn't work the way you want, and you got to get something designed. So sometimes you just let the stats or the data tell you what's most important. And let's see, I'm going to go over some of the other questions in here. Do the designers often use Figma? So yes, that's a wonderful question. So do the designers often use Figma? So there's normally, I want to say, two types of web designers that you come across. You have basically the artist, or what you really call the web designer, and then you have a web coder. And the web coder is normally the one that takes the artist's work and they translate it into code, whether that's an HTML page or that's, you know, in some drag and drop builder like Flowtrack, right? And those people normally aren't the artists, so they don't have the artistic touch to go in there and really create things from scratch. You know, they're really great at exporting images from a design and creating things from a design, just like I did right here, right? They're really great at that part, but they can't create these sorts of images, right? And it's these types of images that really make your page, right? So when you get like the picture of the blob with the person in it, and you really got that artistic touch. So you do need a designer to give you that artistic touch. And for that, you are going to be looking for someone that specializes in Figma or Photoshop. So Figma or Photoshop are probably the top two go-to tools by web designers. And you really want an artist. So let's see. And then we'll go into some of the other questions. Let's see. I said, I'm interested to know how to add a happy client to the image in the main page. Yeah, we can totally do that. So any image in here, right? We do have another person saying a UI or UX designer, absolutely as well. You know, UI UX is another great person that you can hire. And for user interface or user experience, that's UI UX designer. They can also design amazing things. But the coder, the one that does the translation of the design to code, typically doesn't have any design skills, and that's what I am, the coder, right? So I could never make this design, even this design in Figma if I tried, or at least it would take me a few days. So another person asked, does giving the designer an idea using Canva, does that help? Do you have to pay for Figma? So Figma is free as a viewer. So just like I'm doing here, I'm viewing files and I'm exporting what I want, right? And I just click on it and export it. That's free, right? You don't have to pay for that. The designer just sent me a link. I get this link and I see if I like it or not. And I just start clicking on the images and exporting it. So you don't have to pay anything for that. That's really cool by Figma. They actually got a really awesome tool, Figma. So they're probably one of the best tools for designers, absolutely. If you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to dive back into this. And so the rest of this is really just the same process that I went through, right? We're coming in, we're exporting images, and I'm just matching what's in the design. And before we continue on that, I just want to show you how you can find this type of person on Fiverr, because although I'm doing it now and everyone can do it, it's really just a matter of, you know, what's worth your time. Do you want to pay someone, you know, on Fiverr to get this done for you as well? If so, you can go ahead and do that. So let's try that right now. I'm going to come into Fiverr and we can come search for something. Let's say Figma to HTML or Figma to Elementor, Figma to Photoshop. I'm sorry, Figma to Flowtrack. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of results for that, but we'll try right now, see how many people we got. Yep, no results for that. So still too new. So Figma to Elementor, Figma to HTML. Anyone that has experience designing any sort of page in a drag and drop builder, right? They can do exactly what I'm doing, which is read the Figma file, export the images, plug it in, and that's exactly what we want. So I would come in here, and we got Figma to Elementor, and these are some of the results that pop up. So you can come in here and type in a budget too. So maybe you want to say max $20, see what is available. It's really up to you. You can find people at any price point. The only thing I recommend is going for people that have reviews, right? So you know that they have delivered some quality work to other clients. That is great. Like this one right here, 26 positive reviews, $20. I would probably pick that one. That guy has a lot. Or this guy, 10 reviews, $15. So these are some pretty good options in here. But that would be the quickest and easiest way to do it. Now, if you do have the Flowtrack team, the Flowtrack white label, or any of the higher packages, obviously you get unlimited users on there. And so you can create users for the designer, and you can give them access only to the designer. So that's great, and they can go in and actually code that website for you. Now, you may get to parts of your design where you don't like the image that he gave you. Like, let's say, for example, I put this image right here of this kind of stock art type of image, and say maybe I really don't want that. I'm just going to export it to see how it looks. We'll plug it in, but you don't have to use obviously the images from the design. I'm going to go ahead and put another 2x1 grid over here and apply that. And then let's go ahead and put in the image. Actually, I want to put it in the cell. There we go. And now we're going to upload this image. So I dropped this in right here. And let's say I don't like this one at all, right? I actually think it looks good, but let's say, pretend like I don't like it at all. What can we do? Well, let's just use the royalty-free image search, right? So maybe this is going to be a picture of a happy client. So I say happy customer. We got the royalty-free image search right inside, and you can go through and really find the person that you want in here. Just click on the image, and it drops it into the page. So this is a really convenient way to get the image that you want. I don't know if this one matches perfectly with a marketing agency. I think this person just went shopping, maybe more of an e-commerce image, but you get the idea, right? So definitely come in and customize this, and even specify the focal point of the image, stuff like that. So it's really easy to work with these inside the builder. So that's the process. I just want to show you how easy that is. It's the same process for everything, right? When you get the nav bar, you're going to drag the nav bar right here and put the logo in it, and you got the text, and it's the same for everything. So you got those two options. Keep going down the route that I'm doing right now. Build it in the designer, or get that coder on a site like Fiverr. Now let's go ahead and publish this and see how easy that is. So you got two different options on here when you connect your domain. So as soon as you click publish, you can pick between a free domain or a not free domain, right? So this is the free subdomain. That just means that you don't need to do any work to get this live. So if you're using this to just like send to someone to approve the design or get their feedback, you could just pick the free domain. You don't have to do any DNS configuration, anything like that. You would just click publish, enter a name like test me, whatever, and click next, and you're done. So that's one option. Or we can do your own domain. So let's say I own the domain like mikesagency.com, right? So I would type in my domain, and I'm going to go ahead and click next. And on this page, now I get to decide, what do I want to set up this domain for? I can use it for web hosting. I can even use it to send emails. Now, one awesome thing in here that not a lot of tools out there have is we also set up the www dot part of your domain too. So if you type in your domain without the www, it's going to say, hey, do you also want the www version of it too? A lot of people type that in the address bar out of habit, right? And so you want to make sure you leave that checked, and in most cases, so your website works no matter how they type it, with or without the www. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that checked, and then I'm going to click next. And so now it's going to ask you, do you want the fastest website in the world? Well, why would I not want that? So I'm going to click yes, I want the fastest. And we can go ahead and continue with this on here. And so then we're going to get the instructions on how to connect my domain. So Remember, I checked that I want both connected, the one with without the www and with the www. So that's why I actually have two instructions right here, two things I need to copy and paste. So this gives you the step-by-step instructions, what you need to do. Log into your GoDaddy account or the company you purchased your domain from, and then you're going to copy and paste these records into your DNS settings. So there's going to be two records, and there's a name and a value pair. So you literally just click copy, right? You paste it in GoDaddy and click copy the other one, and you paste it in GoDaddy. Now, once you're done, all you got to do is click verify I added these records correctly. The system's going to go out there. It's actually going to check. It's going to look on GoDaddy systems. It's going to say, hey, do I see these values exactly how they should be? There's no code required, right? You just copy and paste. So that's how easy it is to get started. And I see someone asking, the super fast upgrade cost extra? No, it does not cost extra. We actually have that super fast upgrade in there for white label and black label customers. So you can customize the pricing of the packages, including the super fast, lightning fast CDN upgrade in there. That's actually a global CDN with a bunch of pops all over the world. So, but you do have that option as a white label or black label customer to set your own pricing. Otherwise, you just get the option. So, but yeah, that's how easy it is. No code required. So you click on that, verify I did the records correctly, and then you're good to go. And that's how easy it is to publish your domain. That's how easy it is to publish the domain. So I think this is a great experiment right here on Fiverr. Honestly, we were rolling the dice on these 4 designs, but hey, when you got $5 or $10 a design, and we actually ended up with I think 2, maybe 3 that are actually pretty nice and usable. That's actually really good odds. So definitely recommend checking out Fiverr. Definitely recommend checking out people in the community, and anyone that has reviews and work that they can show you of stuff they've done in the past is definitely going to help de-risk your web design efforts out there. So I hope this was super helpful to you guys. If you guys have other ideas for videos that you want to see, please let us know in the comments below. We're going to crank out more great videos. So appreciate you joining me today. Happy Monday, and I hope you grow with the flow. Thanks.